You've been told for years to protect your knees, to never let them go past your toes, and lifting heavies just for bodybuilders and runners should stay on the treadmill. But what if I told you these safety rules has been holding you back from your gains? Now, each piece of fitness advice I'm about to tell you, I've successfully debunked over the many years of training, including lifting at heavy powerlifting competitions and running multiple marathons, even an ultra, all whilst following the worst fitness advice. Today, we're smashing the biggest fitness industry lies with a little bit of science and a healthy dose of reality. Let's start with the big one. Don't let your knees go past your toes. You've heard trainers scream it like a battle cry in the gym floor, painting a picture of your knee joint exploding the second it dares to travel past your shoelaces. This myth actually comes from a 1978 study that noted less shearing force in the knee when the shin remained vertical. Sounds scary, right? But here's what they conveniently forgot to mention. The same advice was built on and a more comprehensive study from the University of Memphis in 2003 found something absolutely critical. When you artificially restrict your knees from moving forward, that stress doesn't just vanish. It has to go somewhere. In this case, it gets transferred directly to your hips and your lower back. So your quest to protect your knee joint has actually caused you more stress elsewhere, such as your lumbar spine, which you quite need. It's like trying to protect your windows in the car whilst driving off a cliff. That's a weird analogy, isn't it? But let's be brutally honest. Your body's designed for all sorts of wear and tear. It's even designed for your knees to go past your toes. Look at things like walking up the stairs, sitting and standing from a chair. So forcing your body into an unnatural hip-dominant squat just to obey this rule isn't just inefficient, it's setting you up for a gnarly back injury down the line. Your knees aren't delicate flowers. They are robust joints that take impact from a day-to-day basis. And let's look at the actual full range of motion squat where your knees do go past your toes. This has been shown to have a protective effect by increasing stability and building stronger tendons. Elite weightlifters, the ones who lift just insane amounts of weight, they let their knees travel past their toes. Why? Because it's the most stable position, which allows them to remain an upright torso and lift the weight effectively and safely. So, what's the fix? It's simple. Stop worrying about it. That was easy. Instead, focus on starting the squat by sending your hips back first, then allow your knees to travel forward naturally. Work on your ankle mobility, which will then aid you to a more upright position in a squat and take any unnecessary stress off your lower back. Your knees are built for this. It's time to start trusting them. Alright, this next one sort of offends me a little bit. It's the myth of the heavy runner, that lifting weights makes you
slower and heavier.
Hard not to be offended here. This little nugget of bro science has been holding runners hostage for years, preventing them to actually getting stronger and having so much strength work in their program. Or if they do, they have a lot of reps and lighter weights to focus on endurance. And this logic seems plausible. Like if you gain muscle mass, you'll have more mass on your frame. More mass on your frame will result in you slowing down. But unless you're taking some impressive amounts of gear, I don't think that's the case. Anyway, moving on. This fossil idea is from the 80s, that the notion of looking like a bodybuilder will slow you down. But modern science has obliterated it. A massive 2022 meta-analysis confirmed what elite coaches have known for years. Heavy resistance training is one of the most single best things a runner can do to get faster. And here's why. Lifting heavy, meaning loads at or above 80% of your 1 rep max, doesn't typically cause massive muscle growth, especially when you're also running regularly. Instead, it triggers powerful neuromuscular adaptations. Your brain gets better at recruiting muscle fibers, and the rate at which you produce force skyrockets. This means every time your foot hits the ground, you can generate more power in less time, making your stride more efficient. The result is a huge improvement on what's called your running economy, your body's oxygen cost at any given speed. And here's the good part. Studies actually reflect that those who implement strength training in their running regime can improve their running economy between 2 and 8%. Now, that might not sound like much, but over the course of like a 5K or a marathon, this can be the difference between a PB or hitting the wall. The runners in these studies get faster with no significant increase in body weight. Sort of think of it like upgrading your car's engine without making the car heavier. You get more horsepower out of the same frame. The idea you should only do light weights for endurance is completely backwards. Science says to lift heavy to run fast. The practical takeaway? Twice a week, add heavy compound lift such as squats and deadlifts to your routine. Aim for low rep ranges around 3 to 5 with a weight that is genuinely challenging. And remember, you're not training to be a bodybuilder, you're training to be more resilient, powerful, and a faster runner. All right, about halfway through the video, and we just absolutely owned 2 myths there. And I want to know what you think. What is your favorite one, or what is your favorite like fitness myth or worst bit of fitness advice you've ever heard in the comments below? And it's got to be one that you're genuinely sick of. If it's decent, I will reply. I reply to every bit of comment. And if it's a juicy one, I'll mention it in a further video. And if you're ready to stop listening to bro science and lift smarter, then go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. Anyway, back to the video. Number 3, the deadlift dilemma. And before we go through this one, here's an old clip of my deadlift years and years ago before I even know what was going on. Watch this. How horrendous was that? Anyway, let's talk about the king of all lifts here, the deadlift, and the cue that is actively destroying your deadlift technique. Pin your shoulders back in a deadlift. You've heard it quite a lot, haven't it? Like common over the years. You've heard PTs say it all the time. You've heard it everywhere on social media. But here's why it can actually hold you back and is dangerous. Now, this is a classic case of a good idea misinterpreted. While you absolutely want to keep your lats engaged, keep the bar close, aggressively pinching your shoulder blades together is a critical mistake. Here's the simple biomechanics. Your lats, the huge muscles on your back, are most effective when your shoulders are in a more neutral or slightly protracted position. Think about packing your lats and trying to squeeze oranges or whatever you want to squeeze in there in your armpits. This action creates immense tension and stability through your upper back without forcing your shoulder blades in an unnatural spot. When you forcefully pin your shoulders back, you actually disengage lats and shift tension to the small muscles like the rhomboids and traps. This not only weakens your pull, but it puts you in a crap position to even start your deadlift. Not to mention the fact that it actually increases your range of motion as well. And if you want more help on deadlifts, then this video will be right for you. The proper cue isn't to pinch your shoulders back. Start thinking about protecting your armpits, or I say to clients all the time, armpits to ass. This actually makes your arms longer and puts you in a better position to start your deadlift. This next one is actually one of my favorites, hence why it's last. And I actually had a comment the other day. Watch this. So, my man, I hope it don't come across like a you're moving some weight, but watch those knees. They seem to be going inward a little. Watch your knees. I'm 37, and it's the first thing that gives in when you let your knees go in on a squat. It happened to me because of that, so hope you stay healthy. So this, again, even though he wasn't genuinely being a twat, he feeds that bias of the information out there that the knees going inward on a squat is bad. So this is a phenomenon called knee valgus, and it's always a sign of catastrophic failure in a squat. But here's the truth for the form police out there. For many lifters, a certain degree of knee valgus is not only safe, but actually can be a biomechanically advantageous way to lift more weight. Let that sink in. Recent research has investigated the biomechanics of squatting with knee valgus and found that, contrary to popular belief, it actually increases the demand on the glutes, especially coming out of the bottom of the squat. It allows the body to shift the load between the adductors and the glutes to find the most powerful path to complete the lift. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of your body just being smart. And the injury risk? Well, a large-scale study on elite female athletes, the group often cited as being the most at risk, found no clear association between this inward knee motion and the future risk of non-contact ACL injuries. The panic around knee valgus is largely based on aesthetics and assumption, not hard evidence. In fact, some of the most elite powerlifters in the world, like Léa Beauvoir, the French powerlifter, is insane squat. Now, context does depend here, because if you're brand new to the gym and if your knees are shooting inwards in a squat straight away, this could be a sign of like poor motor control, poor mobility, and weaknesses that generally do need addressing. And the old school advice of, push your knees out can actually be counterproductive. This can shift a massive amount of pressure and weight on the outside of the foot, making your squat actually weaker position and more unstable. Instead, focus on what's called external rotation by implementing a few of these mobility drills in your program. And if you really struggle with your squat, then watch this video to go more into it. So there you have it, 4 of the most longest standing fitness industry rules completely dismantled by science. The fear of your knees going over your toes, the idea of lifting heavy slows you down, the obsession with pinning your shoulders back, and the terror of your knees caving in. They all hold people back. It's time to realize what you are made of. Stop being so scared. Yes, the fitness industry can sometimes thrive on confusion and fear. It sells quick fixes and dogmatic rules because simple, hard evidence is just not sexy, is it? It doesn't sell. But the real path to getting stronger, more powerful, more resilient is to ignore these old school rules and instead focus on consistency, progressive overload, and following half-decent technique, which the advice is out there for. So stop training scared and start training smart. And if you want more help, then links below will tell you how to work with me.